What's up, everybody? It's your boy Zoe, and guess what? You are officially here in the ozone. My podcast has finally landed. I've been talking about this for a while, thinking about it for even longer, and I'm so stoked to finally bring it to you. This journey for me started about a year ago, where I had the idea of, hey, I'd like to jump into the podcast scene. I wanted to use a platform to bring a little bit of realism to the podcast world. I'm not saying it's not out there, but I know that I could probably put a spin on it my way. From the perspective of an active duty Marine of 23 years, yikes. and, a local Cali boy from NorCal, yee yee. And, just things from my perspective. And, I wanted to really do it. It took some time. I dove into it for a few episodes, about, like I said, a year ago. And, it was fun. It was just raw, me, a mic, a camera. First guest was my wife, which was awesome, and our good friend Veronica. And it was no editing, man. It was just yeah, it was just real talk. And I threw it up on my YouTube channel. And yeah, I didn't really think about it because I feel like you can get bogged down in wanting it to be perfect. And a lot of people, I feel, I laugh because I feel a lot of us are in the same boat, right? Like we want to start something new and we get so caught up in the idea of trying to make it perfect and watching those big, things around us. And then we just lose motivation. Like, man, this is harder than I thought. And I'm done. And it wasn't that by any means. Life just hit. So I just wanted to take my first episode to really kind of reintroduce myself and let you know where I've been the past, you know, few years, so to speak. So yeah, update. I was in Okinawa for the past 5 years, and I was stationed there. As you know, if you don't know, I'm a U.S. Marine. Been in 23 years, and man, I loved Okinawa. I still love it, and my first time I ever got stationed there was late. I won't say late, probably early 2005, four. And over the course of my 23-year career, I got stationed there 3 times, and I've loved every bit of it. I went there as a young Marine, single, kind of doing my thing, and now went there recently with a family and left with a new addition. I just had a baby boy, and he's 6 month old, 6 months old, and he is just amazing. So yeah, a lot happened, but back to the journey with the podcast. Made those few episodes, and life just hit. It was weird. I was in a weird place. I don't want to do it all in this episode here, but yeah, it was a very strange place for me, and I wanted to make a change. I was in a kind of dark hole, and so I had to really take time for myself, and I wanted to give everything to my podcast, and I felt like at the time I just really couldn't, and that's just kind of who I am, right? Like if I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna go in all the way. So yeah, I took some time off, and eventually got orders back to California because if you didn't know, I got promoted, and it's pretty cool. Yeah, I went from E8 to an E9, which in the Marine Corps is a Master Gunnery Sergeant, and it wasn't something I honestly can say I expected. I I kind of thought about it. I hoped for it. I'm not gonna lie, but it's not something that I was like, oh man, like it's life or death, or I need that. It was just kind of like, okay, if I keep working, then that should be the outcome. But when it happens to you, you're like, oh man, is this real? And yeah, it was real. But I knew that with that would come change. And I was there 5 years, and I wanted to get stationed on the East Coast because eventually I'd like to retire there. Cali's just too expensive, man, as you all know. But yeah, hey, God said nope, different plan. Marine Corps was like, no, even better plan, and we're gonna send you back to Cali. And it's been like a blessing in disguise because I left here when I went to Japan, and so just going back through some of my old neighborhoods or my old neighborhood and old places with my kids when they were young and now they're older, it's just really like this nostalgic feel, going down memory lane. So it's been pretty cool to do that. Like I said, I don't miss the prices, man. It's crazy out here, but I mean, I think we all kind of know that around the U.S., right? So But yeah, was stationed in Japan, back in San Diego now, in Camp Pendleton. And who knows? I just re-enlisted for 2 more years. That should take me to about 25. And it's kind of at this point in my career, I'm at like chunks, small chunks, compared to like in the previous times where it was like 4 years, 4 years. Now it's like, okay, I could really start thinking about the next chapter after this, which is scary in itself. To I'm 40 years old, and it's like, man, I can retire in the next couple years. So, um, yeah, a lot of those changes. Like I said, had a baby boy recently, and that has been something that changes you when you're a 40-year-old dad of a newborn. You're tired. You're not as young as you used to be, but you embrace it, man. And being a dad changes you in every aspect. And I hope to share that journey with you and what being a father is really like. So for me, from my perspective, but yeah, that's kind of where I've been. And I've been enjoying being back in Cali, being closer to family, and around the holidays. Big plans for that. And we got to enjoy Fourth of July back in the U.S., which is awesome. Um, and on my Facebook, I kind of alluded to, a huge rant on being in Okie, like the most epic rant ever. And, I was feeling some type of way because I left Okie on not the greatest terms, but I didn't want to let the last part of that really taint my time there because I I had life changing events take place there, and I met some amazing people that are part of my circle now. And I thought, I can't do that. I can't let negativity win, man. I'm too old for that, and I'm just trying to spread love, not hate. And I will say this though, my time in Oki was amazing. I learned a lot about myself. That last year there was pretty rough. I had to do a lot of self reflection on who I was as a man. And when you go through something that deep, it's hard to explain to people what that looks like and what it feels like. You naturally, I think, go internal. That's just me. That's who I've always been. Um, I went internal because I was trying to figure me out. It was deep. And some people don't like that. And I learned that, when you're trying to work on yourself, you don't have to advertise it to the world. You don't owe nobody does. I don't want to say nobody deserves that, but you don't owe anybody anything, right? You can choose to share with people, hey, I'm going through things, and I did that. I think I did, and those that know me know I did. I was going through some life altering things, and just me and who I am. I'm also a person now that I feel can hold myself accountable. And I realized as I was leaving, like, hey, I came off maybe a type of way, right? And so I won't get too much into it, but leaving there, holding myself accountable to how I might have come off to other people, I did my part. I had no shame in going and apologizing. And you learn though that it doesn't have to be received. And man, let's just say that you really see people for what they're worth in all aspects. And so I don't want to let that taint though the good times because there were some awesome times, man. Really enjoyed giving my kids the experience of Japan. When we got there, my daughter was freaking. She was like, I don't. My wife's gonna kill me for that. 6 weeks old, like just medically cleared to get on a plane. Tiny man, a little potato with arms. And we left there, and she was 4, going on 5, and so all she knew was Japan. All she knew was the food and the convenience stores and the weather and even her body physically changed. She was getting like these reactions when we got back to San Diego. It's like her body was like whoa. So same with my son. We got there, he was 2, and we left, and he was 6 or just turned 7. 6, 7. I can't believe I did that. It's in my head. Um, he turned 7. So all he knows is Japan, and it was just a crazy experience overall. So I didn't want to, and I know I alluded to this, and I'm sorry, but I can't go on this rant because I'm just better than that, man. And so I want to say thank you to all those folks out there that became something to me in my life in Japan. You really helped shape me, good or bad, man. really thank you to all the people I met and came across my journey out there. I really got into coaching and youth sports, and gosh, the relationships that'll carry a lifetime, experiences that'll carry a lifetime, the culture. I mean, I'll tell you what, here and now, you're hearing it. I'm going to do an episode on the beauties of it, on the beauty of Okinawa and what it's really given me and my experiences there with pictures and videos and all the fun stuff. Let's do that. Let's spread love, not hate. So, yeah, that's kind of an update. Just wanted to be short and sweet. Like I said, for the probably third time now, I'm back in Cali, and I'm looking forward to just reconnecting with my family here, new experiences here with my kids as they're older, and really kicking off this podcast, man. I'm excited. I look forward to bringing some good content, some real content. I don't take myself too serious, and that's just who I am. And hopefully, you enjoy watching and coming along the way. So yeah, at the end of the day, I'm stoked. The ozone's officially here, and let's do something with it. Let's go somewhere. And I hope you follow me on this journey. So thank you for everything. Thank you for watching. And as always, spread love, not hate. Peace.